as we mentioned earlier on, we spent much of last week celebrating our volunteers in the greater West Bloomfield area, and no more importantly than on Friday, May 10th, when we celebrated the Michigan Week Community Awards Breakfast. One of the most notable awardees from that was Cristina Elsen, who not only won an award as an individual, but also accepted an award for her group of volunteerism, the West Bloomfield Educational Foundation. She joins us now on the Splash Live to talk about that in even more detail. Cristina, first, congratulations on your awards at the Michigan Week Awards this year, and thank you for joining us today.
Oh, thank you, gentlemen, and I appreciate that. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're glad to have you on to talk about this because volunteerism is something that's special and unique to different people for a number of different reasons. Maybe they just want to get involved. Maybe they found an issue that's important to them, that they want to be helpful towards in our community, or it's just something that they're passionate about and they want to find something to use their time in a way that's beneficial to our community. For you, when did your love of service begin?
I always have people ask me that, and somebody sent me a message yesterday saying, I thought you had a clone back when your kids were little, because you were everywhere. My parents were immigrants, so when they came over from the Philippines, it was all about establishing yourself. It was about getting a house, getting a job, getting a car. And once you established yourself, then it was about bringing the rest of your family members over. So eventually, after my aunts and uncles were here, then it was about bringing other immigrants over to do the same thing, get a job, get a house, be a legit citizen. So it kind of started back then because my parents were always doing that as my brother and I were growing up. And I always saw them giving back. And so it probably started when very young, it was kind of instilled in us. And once my parents stopped doing that, they got more involved in the Filipino community with organizations, with helping out, with setting fundraisers, raising money for medical missions that they would go back to the Philippines for to bring medicine, supplies, vaccinations, so that they could do services such as that. That's really hard to get in their country if you don't have money. So I guess I got a lot of it from my parents because that's all I saw growing up.
And in our local area, a lot of your volunteerism can be centered around the West Bloomfield Educational Foundation and the West Bloomfield School District. You are a former member of the West Bloomfield School District Board of Education, so you've kind of got a unique perspective, too, when it comes to this, having been on the board level making decisions behind the scenes on behalf of the school district as a whole, but also doing that work behind the scenes that puts a lot of these practices into play and helps the kids directly through the Educational Foundation. How did you first get involved with the West Bloomfield Educational Foundation?
Um, well, with both, I will attribute it to two people, Dr. Paul Lipson, former principal at Roosevelt, who's now retired, and Kathy Chico, who we all know Kathy. Um, Dr. Lipson was the one when I was really young and my kids were really young. And I just started volunteering at Roosevelt for numerous different things, PTO, helping teachers in the classroom. He's like, I think you would be great on the school board. And then getting involved in Blessings in the Backpack and the Educational Foundation. Kathy Chico, like when I grow up, I want to be her. And so she's always been very inspiring to me. And because of what I saw growing up, it was the way I gave back to my community. I never wanted to, when you're in the schools, there's always a bus stop talk and there's always things that can lead to negative conversation. But I never wanted to be that person. I wanted to be the person who said, well, I see a problem. I should have, I would have, I could have. But if I didn't, then I was part of the problem. If I did, then I could help solve the problem. So those are probably two of the people I would probably attribute a lot of my involvement in the school district and the community to. Of course, there have been multiple people throughout the many years that have also helped influence, me getting involved in the community. I just think it's really important because, again, to complain is one thing, but to complain and do something about it or try to is a whole nother. I just don't ever want to be part of the complaints. I want to be part of the solution to the problem.
Joining us is Cristina Elsen from the West Bloomfield Educational Foundation, one of the many recipients of Michigan Week Community Awards this year from the committee, and also accepted a Gretschko Youth Advocate Award on behalf of the entire group at the West Bloomfield Educational Foundation as well. And let's talk about that too, because that's a big award. It's an award that they keep very hush-hush at the committee throughout the year, and it is essentially revealed on the day of this event. And this year, they awarded, as always, to both a group and an individual. And both the group and the individual were involved or are involved with the West Bloomfield Educational Foundation. The group went to the WBEF, and the individual, in Christy Forehand, was also awarded for her work with the West Bloomfield Educational Foundation alongside you and so many other volunteers. So for those that aren't familiar with the work that this organization does, why is the WBEF so important in our community, particularly for our kids?
Oh my gosh, it's such a wonderful organization, and I have to give huge shout out to our organization because we're like a little group, but a big powerhouse. Is what I'll say about the Educational Foundation Board. Educational Foundation raises money through a single event that we do once a year called the Casino Night. And what we do is we raise money through donations, through basket auctions, through 50/50 raffle. But what we do is we raise money. The state of Michigan will allow teachers and staff to write or to request different educational tools that are in that the teachers use in the classroom. What's so unique about the Educational Foundation is we then take the money raised from Casino Night and we allow teachers to write for specific grants for something that's really out of the box, something they might not get from Michigan state funding. And so it really allows the teachers to really think outside the box, think really broad. What can they use in their classroom that really would help enhance students' learning and education? And we've seen things from hydroponic gardens to robotics to books that are unique, books that focus on diversity, on cultural holidays, religions. It's just such a great thing because all students benefit from the funds that we raise, and so we know we're touching every student in the district in some way possible.
We're joined by Cristina Elsen, Chairperson of the West Bloomfield Educational Foundation and an awardee for a recipient of multiple awards at this year's Michigan Week Community Awards Breakfast, as we reflect on her volunteerism and on volunteerism in general. And so, Cristina, so many people want to get involved in their community, but they don't know where to start. They don't know how they can best serve. They look at so many different things that are of need in the community and that are being addressed in the community and think that, so many other people are doing the work already. How much can I truly be helpful? So for those that are in a position like that, what advice do you have for them to get involved, that they really want to start volunteering and helping out our community?
There's so much you can do within the communities, whether it's West Bloomfield, Kego, Sylvan, Orchard Lake. You find what works best for you. Mine is really about children and how they can benefit. But you can work. There's different groups within Parks and Rec. There's different groups within Rotary. There's different groups that you can really get involved in. The Youth Assistance Group is another fantastic group that I used to do back in the day. Blessings in the Backpack. Contact Kathy Chico. She's still very heavily involved in that. That helps give food to kids who are, maybe of a lower income who qualify, and it gives them food on the weekends so that they're not hungry on the weekends and they come back to school on Monday and they're refreshed and ready to go. So there's so many things out there that you can get involved in. What I would suggest is find what you're passionate about. Find what really, as our teachers say in the district, fills your bucket and makes you happy and fills your heart, because that's what you're going to be the most effective at if you find a group such as, something that will make you feel whole.
If you want to get involved and you want to get involved with the West Bloomfield Educational Foundation, a couple of ways you can learn more information. You can go to their website at wbef.org or visit them on Facebook at West Bloomfield Ed Foundation for even more information. Cristina, before we let you go, is there anything else that you'd like to say about the Michigan Week experience for you, about volunteerism in our community, or anything else about the West Bloomfield Educational Foundation today?
If you are involved, and I apologize, I forgot to give WBEF a plug. If you'd like to join, we are always looking for board members. We are highly involved in the community. It's also a great way to be involved in the district. But again, so many organizations, find what you're passionate about, find what really works for you. And I can't tell you, being involved in your community, with your kids, with your community, there's nothing better than making a difference and making it better for all.
More information on the West Bloomfield Educational Foundation can be found on WBEF.org or on their Facebook page at West Bloomfield Ed Foundation. You can also watch the entirety of the Michigan Week Community Awards Breakfast, their 52nd annual ceremony, on demand right now on civiccentertv.com. Cristina, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.